What is going on, everybody? WeedleTwineedle here, and we are back again with another Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle, and this one's going to be against MemeMachine. Quite an interesting name there you got, buddy. Now, I battled my opponent off my Discord server, so if you guys are interested in a Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle and trade Discord chat room, and a place to hang out and find Wi-Fi battles and talk about Pokemon, definitely check out my Discord server. A link will be in the description, and it's the only spot where I'm accepting battle requests at the moment. So if you try to battle me on YouTube, I'll probably ignore your comment or tell you to join my Discord. Now, MemeMachine and I are having a pretty fun NU game. As he's using a pretty fun team. He has a Trapinch on his team, which made me like get an extreme boner, honestly, low key. As I'm using Zweilous, so we're having the NFE Pokemon dueling it out here. But obviously, Trapinch is way cooler than Zweilous for sure. So I assume my opponent will want to lead off with the Omastar, because Omastar is either a Shell Smash lead or just, set up as many entry hazards as possible. That's my more preferred playstyle of Omastar. But yeah, I'm just going to lead off with my Mesprit. Turn 1, just click Psychic. I don't want to get punished by Scald, so I just figured Mesprit's the best lead, as we're able to chunk down the Omastar pretty low, as the Omastar is going to proceed to lay up Stealth Rocks. It's not too surprising, as Omastar is usually a Sash lead with Hazards or Shell Smasher. I don't really see it do anything else nowadays. But yeah, Psychic should be able to easily twig clear the Omastar, thankfully. I mean, he could have tried to save the Omastar, but it really wasn't the best play. So he got Stealth Rocks up. I mean, that's probably worth it for him, but I mean, getting rid of the Omastar and not allowing him to set up spikes is very good for me, as now in comes the Kling Clang. I haven't really faced this thing yet. I know it likes to shift gear, so I'm just going to fire off the Hidden Power Fire with my legit Hidden Power Fire mess, but like I said before, when you just breed all of your Pokemon, like these awesome Hidden Power Pokemon just fall in your hands super easily, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, the Kling's going to click shift gear here, pretty cool animation for that, as he's going to get +2 speed and +1 in his attack, and it feels so weird seeing Pokemon besides DNC using this move. I haven't seen Kling since Gen 5, to be honest with you. Like, I have not seen this thing in so long, but it's pretty solid, no lie. I'm just going to bring in my Fabio here, my Ampharos. I almost called it Electabuzz for some reason. I don't know why. But we're going to switch into the Gear Grind here, as unfortunately for my opponent, we actually skillfully dodged the Gear Grind. I don't remember the Gear Grind's accuracy, but that is a little bit unfortunate for my opponent. But now, my opponent's going to click the return here, as the return is actually going to bounce off my body, so I'm just going to assume that my opponent did not have enough happiness on this, or he just jumped it wrong. Either way, unfortunate, as here I do skillfully miss the Focus Blast. I kind of click Focus Blast to compensate for the Gear Grind. I'm like, well, you know what, if I miss Focus Blast, so be it, I deserve it. And you want to know what, he dodged the Focus Blast, so good for him. But unfortunately, got paralyzed by the return, as now he's going to go for the Gear Grind, and it does do a lot more damage than the return did, so it definitely tells me that his Kling probably does not have max happiness. If it did have max happiness, I probably would have died to the return plus shift grind, or shift Gear Grind. I tried to combine both of its moves, together. Did not work very well, but yeah, we're able to knock that thing out, thankfully. As now in comes the Whimsicott, as now pretty much just forced to sack off my Ampharos at this point. I don't really want to switch out and risk him doubling into Trapinch to punish me. He could have brought in Trapinch on me, but I guess he didn't want to take a Focus Blast from Life Orb Ampharos, which is fair enough. But now I'm going to bring in my Zweilous here, my Garbodor, and I'm just going to proceed to set up some Toxic Spikes because my opponent does carry Necrozma. Necrozma is definitely threatening, and it's the only reason why I have not brought out Zweilous yet, because Necrozma can 6-0 my team as it can with most NU teams, so that's why I need to carry a Dark type in every single NU team, or the Dual Dance Necrozma set will shit on you. So, yeah, my opponent is going to bring in the Trapinch here as he U-turns, makes a nice play, as now I'm going to like layer Toxic Spikes because in case Necrozma does get out of hand, I'm going to have that Poison Backbone to help me whittle it down, so we have that going for me, as now I'm going to proceed to lay up a layer Spikes as well, may as well, right? Getting badly poisoned may be beneficial to me, but I figure layer Spikes is probably better, as now the Trapinch is going to click the Z move. I'm like, damn dude, this Trapinch set is heat. But yeah, he's actually a Tectonic Rage Trapinch. He's going to trap my Garbodor here. I tried to switch out, and then I'm like, oh wait, this thing has Arena Trap. Haha, it's the Gatodog Trio, I love it. But yeah, he's going to go for Tectonic Rage and send me into the Mantle, and my Garbodor is not going to be able to tank that, unfortunately. Zweilous does not have the juice, and yes, Zweilous are going to go down, but we got to layer Toxic Spikes and Spikes. So that's very nice for me. As now I'm going to bring my twinsies here, my Zweilous, and I have no idea who's faster than the other, but I'm sure I can take any one hit this Trapinch has, and I'm just going to click Ice Fang here, and we're just going to one-shot this Trapinch. Pretty nice damage as Zweilous with Hustle hits it relatively hard, And now my opponent is going to bring in the Whimsicott once again, and I don't want to lose my Zweilous because, like I said, I need a dark type to not get 6-0'd by Necrozma, so saving this is definitely needed. So I'm going to switch out my twinsies here, and I'm just going to pivot into my Cofagrigus here to tank the Moonblast or whatever my opponent wants to go for, as it should be able to tank any hit, as my opponent does decide to click Moonblast, as I don't really have a fairy resist anymore, so Moonblast is my opponent's best play by far. Cofagrigus does take it relatively nicely though, as Cofagrigus is pretty thick, no lie. And this team's kind of like a pseudo Trick Room team, because Trick Room is pretty fun to use on occasion, and it's not like a devoted Trick Room team or else everything on my team would be slow as hell, but it does have Ampharos. Ampharos also has agility in case, you know, I'm able to get Trick Room off. So it's pretty cool. You can either be speedy or like slow for Trick Room, because Ampharos is not the speediest Pokemon, so against Hyper Offense it's still pretty much slower than everything. So we're able to lay up the Trick Room here, and I'm like, nice, we can bring back in the Zweilous, we can do some fun stuff. I'm just going to sack off my Cofag to the Moonblast pretty much, and I have no reason not to switch out, or no reason not to stay in here until I kind of brain farted. I should have known better. I kind of stay in here, and he's going to Encore me into Trick Room, which really blows, because now my Cofagrigus is forced to click Trick Room again and just remove the Trick Room I just set up. So I pretty much just sacked off my Cofagrigus for absolutely nothing. But I mean, it happens. You gotta make silly plays every now and again, and my opponent played that pretty well. I was definitely tempted to switch out, but I'm like, nothing really wants to switch into a Moonblast anyway, so I'm like, I may as well sack up my Cofag. But yeah, he made the right play there, clicking Encore, as he knew that switching out wasn't the most favorable matchup for me. So he's gonna knock me out with the Moonblast here, just to make sure I don't get my Trick Room back up, as he's gonna get a useless crit. Go figure. Down goes Cofagrigus, unfortunately. And I forgot to name it Catch These Hands, which made me really upset, because it was a nasty plot one. My other one, which is for the Mummy King strategies, named Catch These Hands, but that one's not named Catch These Hands, because I forgot to nickname it. I do that a lot with the Pokemon I breed. But now I'm going to bring in my Mesprit, and this Mesprit should be able to tank a Moonblast, I'm hoping, because it is Mesprit. But yeah, my opponent's going to choose to click U-turn here. Nice play. As it's not going to do too much, because obviously this Whimsicott has no attack investment. And now the Whimsicott's going to U-turn out of here and bring in the Necrozma once again. Well, actually, this is my first time my opponent brought it out this battle, because my opponent knows that Necrozma is a late game god, and if he can get rid of my Zweilous, he instantly wins the game. So I don't know why he brought it out at this point. Probably to pivot into the Psychic. That's a pretty nice play, but we're able to actually chunk down the Necrozma pretty nicely. I'm surprised at that damage, no lie. And the Necrozma with the poison damage is already at half HP, so it's looking pretty nice at this point. I don't know if he's the dual dance stored power set, or if he's like a physical variant with like sword stance. I'm not too sure, because Necrozma can run quite a few sets actually. But Psychic with Life Orbs whittling down pretty nicely, as now my opponent is going to choose to go for the Moonlight. He's going to try to Moonlight stall me out of Psychics, or just Moonlight Life Orb stall me, but he's poisoned and I have a chance of getting us a Death Drop, so not the best play on my opponent's part, but at the same time, I can see what my opponent's doing. He's trying to make it so he can win with Whimsicott late game, and if he knocks out my Mesprit, well, Mesprit's already low enough to die that Moonblast, but if I play this game poorly, I can still easily lose this game to Whimsicott, so I gotta watch out. So we're gonna bring in Swing That Neck, my Alolan Executor, and we're gonna frisk and find out he has weakness policy. I'm like, that's my man, using my Necrozma set, I love you. So he's gonna go for the Moonlight here, which pretty much tells me with the weakness policy that he is a stored power set, although he could run like Low Kick or something alongside stored power to like wreck me. That'd be pretty unfortunate. But from the looks of it, he does not carry Low Kick. He's just like a dual dance stored power set. As now my opponent's going to go for the Calm Mind here, just to tank any attack I want to go for. Pretty nice play on my opponent's part. But he is poisoned, so he really wouldn't take a Life Orb, Leaf Storm, or Draco Meteor from Executor very well anyway. But I'm just going to proceed to click Trick Room. If my opponent wanted to pivot into the Whimsicott, I would have sacked off my Mesprit onto the Moonblast or something, or Encore. But yeah, Necrozma's gonna get hurt by poison, and as tempted as I am to stay in here and click Draco Meteor, I don't want to stay in here and waste my Trick Room turn. So we're gonna bring in Twinsies here, and not mess around with this Necrozma, and hope that this thing doesn't have a way to hit my Twinsies, as now my opponent is gonna click the Moonlight once again, just trying to get back to full HP. I can understand that, but I don't think he can beat Zweilous 1v1, as Zweilous is pretty damn powerful considering its little tiny dragon thing. Because Hustle really makes Pokemon pack a punch, which is why I like running Z moves with Hustle, because you can't miss. But now I'm going to click Crunch here. Thankfully we do connect. If I was the Dark Yamzy, I'm sure just would have one-shot the Necrozma, but Necrozma is very hard body. We're going to activate my opponent's weakness policy here with Crunch, but I'm pretty sure my opponent can't touch me, as now my opponent's going to go for the Iron Defense here, so it pretty much confirms that he's my Necrozma set. He's probably not the same spread, because my Necrozma's max to death. and his is probably like more speedy or offensive. I'm not too sure what Necrozma's run, but I EV trained my in-game Necrozma, so my Necrozma was like a random like Tom Manager, so I'm like, well, let's EV train it, and you know, it was like one of the first Pokemon EV trains on. But we're able to knock out Necrozma here, thankfully. As down that monster goes, as now my opponent is going to bring in the Rotom-Mow. I still have a turn of Trick Room up, which is why he did not bring in the Whimsicott, because my opponent is trying to win with Whimsicott, which is his best play by far. But I'm going to go for my Z move here. She wants to pivot into the Zweilous attack, so be it, but I figured he wouldn't, as now I'm going to go for the Devastating Drake with my Zweilous, and we're going to throw that dragon out, the Spectral Dragon, which looks really awesome, by the way. Definitely one of the coolest looking Z moves in the game, as Devastating Drake just makes that Rotom drop. I don't know if it was like offensive or a defensive Rotom-Mow, but either way, it just gets destroyed, as now my opponent's Celeste is the Whimsicott, and unfortunately the Trick Room did wear off, so I can still lose. Moonblast can potentially just sweep me late game, as Alone Executor is weakened, Twinsies is weakened, and Mesquite will die to Moonblast, so it might just be a Whimsicott cleanup. So I'm pretty much thinking it's GG at this point. My opponent played very well, and yeah, down goes my Zweilous. I still did a lot of work in this battle, so I'm pretty satisfied with Zweilous' performance, no lie. As now, I should be able to just lose, because Moonblast is going to sweep me. If I protect, maybe I can Poison Style him, but I'm going to bring in my Alone Executor here, take some Rocks damage, and I'm sure I'm going to die to the Moonblast. We're going to frisk his leftovers, and it should be GG at this point. Moonblast, I'm going to knock out my Alone Executor. You can see his neck a little bit. But Alone Executor actually lives with 31 HP, and I'm like, holy shit, man, I wasn't expecting to live that. So instead of us losing, we're actually able to win the battle with a very narrow 2-0 victory once again. So it came down to the wire there, but unfortunately Whimsicott does not have the juice to knock out Alone Executor, and we're able to win against MemeMachine with a narrow 2-0 victory. So I hope you guys did enjoy that pretty close Wi-Fi battle featuring Trapinch, which is pretty awesome. Props to you, man, for using Trapinch. If you enjoy this Wi-Fi battle and want to support my YouTube channel, please be sure to hit the like button, as it's the best way to support my YouTube channel and help it grow, so definitely keep that in mind. And thank you guys so much for 6,000 subscribers. I'm probably not going to make a sub special for it, but I just want to say thank you guys for the support as of late. And yeah, the question of the day is going to be, what is your favorite ability in the Pokemon game? Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite ability is. Now, my favorite abilities have got to be either Simple or Sheer Force. I love Sheer Force a lot because it just gives Pokemon a lot of raw power that they need, like Nidoqueen or Nidoking. And Simple, you guys should know why I love Simple. I love Simple Beam, just the ability Simple in general. If Simple Beam didn't exist, I'd use Skill Swap with Simple, but Simple Beam is actually really cool, and I love how they made a move devoted to the ability Simple, so they wanted people to use it in like pro strats, and I feel like I'm one of the first few people that used it besides Simple Beam plus Extreme Evo Boost, but I feel like there's a lot more potential with Simple than Evo Boost, as you guys have seen in my videos. But I'm rambling at this point. Thank you guys so much for watching till the end. I'll check you guys in my next video. Alright, peace.